Hey everyone, welcome back to Hot Tub Hot Takes. I have some special guests,
Ayami
and Peyton,
and we're going to be going over some of our hottest takes. So, who wants to start us off?
I think you need to start us off
first. I'm starting us off with a little bit of a controversial one. I think girls' sports are more technical, but people like men's sports more because they hit harder.
Okay,
no, 100%, I think.
Yeah, because, I play girls lacrosse, for example. Let's just look, girls lacrosse, a lot more rules because it's not like a quote-unquote contact sport. So, yes, technically, girls' sports have more, rules and technicalities, and boys' sports are a little more, aggressive, you could say, because we have more rules.
And I think that's why a majority of people like men's sports more.
Yeah, they're
is because they're just...
In a way, it's more exciting, when someone's going to beat somebody up. You're like, yeah.
But I definitely think, girls' sports should have, for example, girls' hockey. You're not allowed to check. That's, the whole point of hockey. Yeah. Let's be honest.
Exactly.
Throwing each other into the boards is the main point. Who cares about scoring? It's throwing each other into the boards, and you're not allowed to do that in women's hockey. Or, girls lacrosse. You guys, barely any stick-to-body contact, if any, depending on the ref, right?
Exactly.
Girls all play girls lacrosse. Hey,
yeah!
Girls lacrosse team here.
Yeah.
Or, girls volleyball and men's volleyball. Girls volleyball is so much more of a more technical game, while men's volleyball, they're just smacking it.
They're just jumping around.
They're just jumping around. Well, girls is more about, setting different things, and setting is one of the main parts, and just the way that you can set with girls volleyball versus boys volleyball is so different.
Right.
So that's my hot take.
Aw, I agree with your hot take.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think bugs get a bad rep, but that doesn't mean I won't touch one.
Wait, that was one of my ideas.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah.
I think bugs get a bad rep, that they're icky and dirty and gross, but I disagree. But that doesn't mean I'm gonna go and pick up a spider. Right. That's not.
I do have a genuine fear of spiders. If I see one, I will not go near it. I will evacuate the room. But at the same time, if I see a cute little beetle, I'll be like, "Aw." Yeah. I'm not gonna pick it up.
Yeah.
My kind of really weird irrational fear is I'm really terrified of potato bugs, which is really gross looking things, and they're big and they're kind of popular in Santa Cruz. Anyway, and so potato bugs aside, bugs are just chilling. They're living their lives. They just living. Yeah. I don't really think they're that I don't know.
With bees, so I hate bees, but I think bees are great. I think they do great things for our environment, but they can do their great things somewhere else. You don't need to do your great things near me, because I've never been stung, knock on wood. But, I am so scared of getting stung because my dad's allergic. I don't want to find out if I'm allergic. So I'm keeping my no sting streak, okay? Do your good things, 20 feet away.
I think bees are adorable.
I think they're fantastic.
Little fuzzy and they're cute.
I think they're great things, but
wasps, no.
Mm-hmm.
Wasps are, different story.
So, I am not a coffee drinker, so I am probably not the right person to be talking about this, but I think coffee is actually a big placebo effect, and here's why. Because, coffee has caffeine, and I know people go on legit coffee and caffeine withdrawals, but I think after you start drinking coffee for a decent amount of time, I think a part of it is a placebo, which is perfectly fine. But that's my hot take, that coffee is actually a big placebo effect.
No, because that's 100% true. Even though people go through caffeine withdrawals, when I went through caffeine withdrawals and I stopped drinking coffee after I quit being a barista, but I don't know, after a while, I kind of realized that it wasn't me being oh, I need coffee, I need coffee. It was I associated coffee with being awake, and it was more of a correlation, not causation. Yeah, there was it was just me thinking that it was working. And so then, I even drank decaf tea, and it was still fine. Now I just drink green tea, but I guess
green tea smacks.
That's
first of all.
That's what I
Yeah.
wanted to say. Like, my
Tea's good.
hot take is that tea is better than coffee.
Tea
That
is
is
so
I
good. I
Right?
agree.
Right?
A good iced tea. Oh, it's so good.
I've been getting into like hot teas lately. My mom is like the biggest tea drinker, and I have just hopped on the tea train. I don't love the flavor of coffee anyway. So I mean, there's that, but I do think tea is very underrated.
Tea is so underrated.
You know
And
what?
it gets associated with like England and like old ladies, but like
Tea and crumpets.
tea's for everyone.
Also,
Tea inclusivity.
Tea is for
I wanna
everyone.
make a
Yeah.
t-shirt
Tea
that
is for
says
everyone. Tea is for everyone.
Tea
We're
is-
gonna start printing stickers.
Tea is for everyone at any time. You
Anywhere.
can have bedtime tea. You can have bedtime coffee.
Copyright my Ayami Peyton tea is for everyone.
Tea is for everyone. There's a copyright on that now.
Also, if you think about it, you like unless you like black coffee, you have to add so much to coffee to make it like,
Yeah.
like taste good. But
Yeah.
for tea, if you gave me like a cup of black tea and like lemonade, I'd be like, oh, it's delicious.
Too good.
Yes.
It's good.
Too good.
Yes, I agree. Okay.
Alright,
Another hot
Wow.
take. Nike is the best sports brand.
Oh.
Ooh,
I
I think
think-
it depends.
I think universally, when you think of most sports, you think football, softball. Like when I think of Nike stuff, I think football, I think softball, I think volleyball, I think like basketball. Like I think they have between all the sports. Obviously, there's going to be some hit or miss ones,
Yeah.
but I think universally between all of them, they have the best sports stuff.
I think because I play lacrosse, I'm just like that's not true for
Yeah.
like me
Yeah.
personally. For me, my go-to is like sticks or something
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
something like
Shout
that.
out.
Shout out,
Shout out.
Sticks. Yeah.
Not sponsored.
But I feel like lacrosse brands are so much more specific and tailored
Yeah.
towards lacrosse, and like Sticks also is like field hockey
Yeah.
too.
I also play water polo, and like so obviously, but like they don't make water polo balls, but Nike does make water polo suits, etc. Like
Yeah.
we wear like Turbo, which is
Yeah.
like a water polo and swim company. But I agree in the sense that like up there with Adidas and like those bigger companies, well-rounded. It definitely provides a lot of sports products.
Mhm.
So it's definitely a decent sports company because it kind of ranges to a lot of different groups.
yeah,
I
I just think if you're looking for quality in a certain sport, you should definitely like go out and like look for something
Yeah.
that's more
Oh
catered
yes,
to your
agree.
But I
agree.
think for a big brand that provides so much compared to Adidas and Asics, whatever, I think they're the best.
No,
of all
yeah,
of them.
yeah, definitely.
Because like Nike softball stuff, that's like prime softball stuff you're going for. Like those Nike,
True.
all the Nike softball pants, like I would literally save up money when I was 8 to get Nike softball pants in my team's color because I love the Nike softball pants so much. Like they were just top. Like love
Top
them.
a little
tier.
controversial
Yes.
for an Adidas sponsored school.
Oh yeah. Whoa.
Okay. I think that the Adidas stuff for the most part is not like the stuff that we have as a school is not the best because we used to have like
Yeah,
Nike stuff
yeah.
depending on the sport. Like at volleyball, like 12 years ago had Nike jerseys, and so like my freshman year, like we wore Nike jerseys.
Mhm.
Loved
Ah.
those jerseys. They were the best.
Aw.
And now they have like these like not as good Adidas ones. And also when you talk about Nike gear, like I like seeing those like, you know, the D1 like Christmas when they get all their like
Mhm.
gear and
Aw,
stuff.
yeah.
Love watching those. And the gear they get is so good. It is so good. It is like the shirts, the shorts, the shoes, the backpacks, like all of it is so it's just so good. It's
Right.
so good. So
So
love that.
unboxing hauls that they do.
oh, I love them so much. My favorite that I've seen, I really like the University of Oregon one.
Mhm.
I really,
Awesome.
I'm also this is all like volleyball tailored because that's what I see most of them for.
Yeah.
I really liked LSU, and I also really liked University of Michigan.
Mhm.
Those were my top 3 that
Good
I was
for
like,
them.
these are sick. So,
Agree. All right.
okay.
Baller.
Peyton.
Okay. All right. Let me think of that. Okay. My hot take is that Northern California is better than Southern California. I know that we live in
Ooh.
Northern California, but
We
here's-
live in
I'm-
Central. I
I'm
think
not.
it's
Oh
three
yeah.
different
Okay. We're in
parts.
like Central.
There's
California.
like 3 different parts.
So I think Southern California, go Southern California. They're great. Lots of great things going on down there. I'm not like dissing Southern California. And also, I think growing up here, I'm just not a fan of the 7-lane like freeways and that kind of thing. And I think it's definitely a little bit dirty, etc. But I think that Northern California is beautiful. It's very underrated. If you go into the depths of the nature in Northern California, it's just like so unreal.
Yeah.
And anyway, so much love to all of California, but I think as a whole, Northern California just kind of got it going on, and people like don't think about it as much.
So I agree with that. People don't think about it as much, but as someone who just drove through Northern California over the past 3 days, it was horrendous.
Oh no!
So no offense to anyone from Klamath, but we stopped in this little like. Yeah, it's like border Oregon, like California.
Like
Eureka, but like a little further down.
Okay.
No offense to anyone in Klamath, but when we went, the only thing that was open was the hotel we were staying at and the casino that was attached to it.
Oh my god.
So we spent like a day and a half there, and just I just like, you know when you drive through towns that are kind of falling apart, you feel kind of bad?
Yeah.
Like, there's people that live there.
Right.
That's how I felt.
Oh.
So like the whole time I'm just like, what do these people do?
Yeah.
And like somehow that hotel was booked, fully booked. It's like a Holiday Inn Express, like it was fully booked. And I'm like, what are people doing in this town? Because there's nothing in our north and nothing in our south.
All right.
And like even inland. Like what do you? If you're from Klamath, let us know what you guys do.
Yeah.
Like, if you know anyone from Klamath, California, I really want to know what you guys do in that town.
Klamath, California. It's like a alliteration, assonance.
It has
I
a
know.
little funny name.
Yeah.
Like I don't think I could pronounce that with my speech
Klamath.
impediment. but
like we drove through Northern California because we were doing a Washington, Oregon college tour, and my mom wanted to drive back down. And like, yes, we stopped in Bodega Bay, we stopped in Santa Rosa, like awesome. Like Northern California is great. But when you're talking about Northern California, you also have to acknowledge the nowhereness that is also
that's
there.
true. Which,
like,
towns wise, obviously Southern California is much more populous,
Yes.
much more like
there's more
definitely
things
a lot
to
of things
do.
going-
Like you can go 5
for
minutes
sure.
and do
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Where
For
like
sure.
Santa Rosa, maybe you'd have to go like an hour to do something.
So true. Okay, very true. I admit that. I agree.
Your take is getting debunked.
I would say I do prefer Central California, as in like the Bay Area, like as opposed to Southern California, just because like you go to the Bay Area and it's like tech wise, it's just so much more fun.
Yeah.
There's so much more to do if you're interested in that kind of stuff, and like the malls are
very
so good.
Yeah.
I mean, like Los Angeles does have like the Grove or whatever it's called, but
It's always so crowded. And,
yeah.
like, we would go down to LA every Thanksgiving for the past like who knows how many years, and like we wouldn't do all those like classic touristy things. We would just do like our own little thing, which is also a nice part of Southern California. Is you don't have to do like the Grove
So
and
true.
Hollywood Boulevard and like all those like
Yeah.
typically tourist things. You can go and find your own little peaceful thing, you know.
Mhm.
So
I agree. Cool.
okay,
All right, what you got?
this one is for our guy listeners. I think when guys wear their hats half on, they look stupid.
Okay, so I was talking about this with my boyfriend yesterday. You know those TikToks where the guys like try to disprove like and say like, oh, I look better when my hat is half
Yes,
on.
and they push it all the way
Like,
down.
no, you don't. Why do you think it looks better when it's like floating on the top of your head?
It just makes your head look so abnormally long.
You just look like it looks huge.
in middle school, this person has moved away. I don't know where they are now, but this kid
Shout out to
would-
that person.
Shout out to that person. They would wear their hat like half off, like it was a flat bill, like bright red, like I don't know if it said like Red Bull on it. I don't know what it said. Half on, and we would be in like PE in middle school, like jumping jacks, running the track, and I don't know, by the grace of God, that hat stayed on. It would stay on. I don't know how. Did it look good? No, but
It works
it's
a miracle.
for some reason. But I don't know. Maybe he was always like, maybe he had to like bobby pinned in because like
Just
like,
it's
I don't
super
know.
glued down.
Possibly, but
He sleeps with it on.
wherever you are, like I hope you rock on whatever look you're rocking, but it didn't look that
You know,
good.
the strongest relationship I've ever seen was that guy and his hat. Just so committed to one another.
Like I'll walk down the halls and I'll see like
It's not
freshmen
good.
and
It's
their
not good.
their hat is like half on. I'm like, look, just put it on. Like just put the hat all the way on or
What's
don't
the
wear
purpose
it.
of it?
Right?
I
Like,
mean,
in sports med, you know how many of them come in with their hats like half on and I just want to flick it off?
If
Like,
you're trying to make a fashion statement, I mean, like, I'm happy for the confidence you have, but
it's not a
I
fashion
hate to
statement.
tell you, it's not looking too good.
It doesn't have a good outcome.
It
No,
didn't
it
hit the
doesn't.
way you thought it would. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Okay. Peyton, your take.
Okay, wait, let's see.
Actually, I kind of have.
Okay,
Oh my god, you have one, go.
I think that, you know how all the influencers, like, they move down to, like, LA and they're like,
Right.
I'm gonna make a name for myself.
Mhm.
I think that for those influencers or people that are more interested in fashion, I think they would do better in New York City. Like, I feel like in my mind, New York
I
City is
love
just
that.
such like a better city than Los
Mhm.
Angeles.
Mhm.
And there's so many connections there. And I don't know, like, when I think of city, I've never once thought of LA, but I always think of New York.
So I actually have I feel like I have a good input
Yeah.
on this. Okay, so like a few years ago, I figured out like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do with my life. I'm still gonna like, I've been on the same track for a few years. I want to go into media production and design and advertising. Anyway, and so originally I wanted to end up in LA, but obviously as I've grown up and gotten older and my future is much more right in front of me, I've done a lot more research, and I recently visited New York this summer, and looking into it, I completely agree. And for especially the fashion industry, media industry, New York is, and I'm not talking about like, I mean, I don't want to go into like being like an influencer or content creation, but I want to go into like digital media production and that kind of thing. So anyway, but yeah, New York has proved to be, like, in my research, a lot better option for that kind of field, actually. But I mean, definitely depends specifics, but
Yeah.
as a whole, I agree with that.
And I think part of that too
LA
has like LA has become such an influencer town that now when you think of like
Yeah.
when you think of those other like forms of media, like what Peyton wants to do, it like kind of loses that momentum it had, whatever momentum it had in LA, and now is, you know, everyone sees New York until that's going to turn into an influencer town and there's going to be somewhere else, you know.
Oh my gosh.
So I think there's a good divide.
New York is also much more global and international.
Yes,
Yeah.
I agree.
Like, when you talk to people that aren't from the United States, they always mention New York City. I've never heard one of them talk about Los Angeles. But, you know, also what I was thinking is that New York City is just so much more of a city. Like, with the big buildings, it's just like everything is so walkable.
Also, shout out to New York for baller public transportation.
True.
Oh my god.
Boo California for not great public transportation.
Why do we not have like a subway in like Los Angeles? Wait, do they have one?
So they have BART, right?
BART's
BART is
Bart's
San Francisco.
that's in
San
there.
Francisco has better transportation than LA does, which I guess
know LA
makes
has
sense,
like
but also doesn't make sense. Like, they
Yeah.
should both have pretty
I think
equally
it should
good
have a
public
more
transportation.
elaborate subway system. And
I feel like there's like,
that's probably
like-
hard to implement now.
yeah.
Because I'm sure
True.
New York City subway's been around for long. I don't know.
I don't know.
But I do love
I know
that
we're into
subway.
railroads.
The subway's so good. You know, like your
Subway
first
rocks.
Subway rocks.
Yeah,
Like, I
love
think
Subway.
everyone has a really high expectation, and when you get on the first time, you're kind of like, oh, this is kind of not what I expected. But as you continue to keep riding the subway, for whatever reason, you
It
kind of
is
get
so
like, you like it more.
convenient.
Like, it's convenient. Like, when you learn how it works, you learn how it works. Like, that is like the make or break of the subway, is just learning how that system works.
I like that. Go New York.
Like,
Go New York!
Go New York. We
Okay.
love tea and we love New York, y'all.
Oh yeah.
Crocs make me uncomfortable. I know a lot of people really like Crocs, but just something about them, like, it feels like, I don't know, I can't describe
Is
it. Like,
looking at them makes you uncomfortable, or wearing them makes you uncomfortable?
like
Oh, yeah,
just
that's good.
looking at people wear them makes me uncomfortable.
Have
Like,
you seen
I don't
those,
know
like,
why.
Croc heels? Those.
Oh
make
my
me
gosh,
uncomfortable.
those are
I was at Cal Poly 2 weeks ago, and this girl like was wearing the highest platform Crocs.
Oh my god, the
ever.
ones that are like that thick, right?
Yeah, but she was like moving like I've never seen before. She was like walking so quickly in these platform Crocs, and I'm like, wow, you're an icon.
I wonder
Anyways,
if just Crocs make me anxious, because like I'm always just scared that someone's just gonna lose their shoe. Because I feel like it can just come off at any point, and then your dogs are out. Your dogs are out. Like, put your dogs away. Like, wear like a normal pair of shoes. Like, there was this kid in middle school who would run the mile in his Crocs, every single time we ran.
Yeah.
And, shout out to him. But I was always so scared that he was just, he knows.
I feel like Crocs are like a tripping hazard.
Yes,
but
I
do own Crocs, and I enjoy my Crocs, but I often wear them on the pool deck. Or
see, that makes sense.
If I need to run to the grocery store and I don't want to wear other shoes. But,
like the pool deck, that makes sense. It's got holes so the water can flow out. But like regularly on a day-to-day basis, especially if you wear them with socks, like you're going to squeak a little bit in them too because like your feet are getting a little warm, a little sweaty. And they're just going to like squeak in the shoe. And it just it makes me feel like.
As someone who's from Florida, where we frequently just do not wear shoes and instead opt for a Croc or flip-flop or slide.
Opt for
a Croc. By me. But I see the convenience of having Crocs. Like if you have to go out to get your mail, you just slip them on.
I think they kind of fall in like the flip-flop category. I think definitely depends on your preference, but I think they kind of I don't know. I think like they're good for like if you need like on the go. I mean, am I like an everyday, all day Croc wear? No. Would I wear it to workout practice? Yeah.
I'd wear it to the airport.
Yeah.
Go to the beach.
Comfy,
I think as a day-to-day shoe, no go. But like pool deck, like the airport, like makes sense.
Makes sense.
Like, but as a day-to-day shoe, it makes me uncomfortable.
Like if I come to school and I see someone rocking the Crocs, I'll be like, eh. But if they're cool Crocs though, then I'll be like, yeah.
I kind of agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have pretty much bright orange Crocs. I get called it.
Those like lightning McQueen ones. You've seen those?
Oh, those are good.
Those are so cool.
Those
so sick. Do we go on to the next one?
Yeah.
I'm
liking these.
I've got two that I really want to go over. Okay.
Go.
I think that women belong in the sports industry. I think you hear I'm really into hockey. You can probably tell by the fact that I brought it up with every single question. But like there's a term like puck bunny, which is like someone who just dates hockey players because they're hockey players and they date around with the team.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so demeaning and ruining to women in sports because once it's such a free thrown around term, but it has such a horrible meaning that when you're actually interested in sports, you get called a puck bunny, and it's like, no, I grew up with hockey, I love watching hockey. It's one of the few professional sports I understand, and I want to work in that industry because I love the sport so much, and I've grown up with it. So just hearing people say things like that, there was a really influential person in hockey media recently, Paul Bissonnette, or Biz is what he goes by. He tweeted something recently that was women only watch hockey for the men. And having someone so influential in that community say something like that openly and mean it, it just is so demeaning to everyone in that whole community. And one of my favorite retaliation tweets that I saw, they asked him if he watches women's hockey. And they're like, if the answer is no, then you also watch hockey for the men. And I thought that was the best answer I've ever seen from someone. But I think that's why women stray away from the sports industry, is because you're going to get that retaliation. Do you know how many times I've been asked if I know the 1990 Canadiens roster? No, I don't care that much. I wasn't alive. What do you, no, duh, I don't know.
You know what that is the equivalent for me is I grew up just surrounded by college football. Shout out the University of Florida Gators. That's my team. That's my
I'm
team.
kidding.
I will ride or die for them. But
fair enough.
The amount of times that I've been in class and the guys are talking about football and their fantasy football teams, and I either look over or try to make a comment, and the guys are just what do you know about football?
Can you name the 1984 Packers? I'm
no.
No.
Who was the quarterback of the blah blah blah? I'm
I just enjoy it.
Can I not just watch a game and have fun? Or when I don't know, it'll be Super Bowl time, everyone's coming to school talking about, oh, they're gonna win, so excited. And if I, as a woman, disagree with a man, they assume that I'm wrong because I'm a woman.
You're uneducated and you don't know what you're talking about.
Or I must I had people ask me do you only root for that team because you think Tom Brady's attractive? And I was like, no. First of all, he has kids. Second of all, he's the same age as my dad. Third of all, I don't even like that team that much, but in comparison to the other team, I just think they're gonna win.
Right.
Like,
Yes.
can I not just like appreciate that?
Also, another female sports fan.
We're the perfect group to talk about this.
Like big sports fan. I love the Bears sports, San Francisco Giants, 49ers, my team, the Warriors, love them all. But yeah, like, and oftentimes I've been caught betting Mr. Clymer in football recently. Yeah.
Peyton.
See, yeah, you see
The Broncos jersey.
Yeah, okay. I don't love that the Niners lost to the Broncos. But whatever, okay. But my point is, like, also, like, I totally know what you mean, like, I don't know, like, I feel uncomfortable, like, jumping into conversations. They'll be like dudes would be like, oh, like, you know about this? I'm like, yeah, like, I pay attention. Like, I enjoy watching football games at night, like, on the weekends, whatever, like, Sunday night football. I enjoy sitting on my couch with my dad watching football.
Yes,
we have a good time. Like,
I love sitting with my dad and watching hockey games.
I don't know all the rosters, because, like, obviously, like, I'm a 17-and-a-half-year-old girl. Like, I got things going on in my life. I got school. I got college.
You don't have time to memorize every single team's roster and the owner.
I enjoy sports, so don't, like
if you can
prejudge me. Oh my god, prejudge. What's the actual word for that?
For what?
Are you like make it what prejudge isn't? I'm sorry, I just like okay. Like prejudge is not the word, but like it's just like just don't make assumptions, I guess.
Yes.
Let us enjoy it.
And when you
sports,
like the sports team that is in your area, like as a female, I've noticed that you get associated as like a bandwagon.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
like,
totally.
I'm not like the biggest fan of basketball, but like, you know, like I've been to like a Warriors game because like I enjoy watching sports. Like I know enough about basketball that like I know what a 3-pointer is, I know what's 2, I know what a foul is. Like, and I know what traveling is. Like that's enough that you need to know to watch basketball, right?
Yeah.
And I like when I came back or like I posted something on my story, like someone was like, "Oh, do you just like them because they're in the area, or do you actually like basketball?" And I was like, I just went to a game. Like I felt like I was getting associated with this like bandwagon because I liked the team that was in the area. Like, sorry, I don't want to, fly across the country to go like watch another basketball game. Like
you know what's the worst is when girls are the ones. Sorry.
No. Oh my gosh. Sorry, Colin.
It's the worst when like other women are the ones who like accuse you of being a bandwagoner, like not actually like the sport. Because then it's like, why are we competing to both like the same thing?
Yeah.
Like, why can't we just talk about it?
Yes.
Yeah. I got called a bandwagoner in 8th grade because I said like the Niners, and I'm like, and they're like, oh, just like exactly like because they're a local team, and I'm like, no, like I actually enjoy. Also, do my family and I like the Niners because that's the team we grew up like watching the most, that kind of thing. So we're Niners fans because that's pretty much how it works. Like, you root for your team because they're your team, but like exactly, like, I'm not just a bandwagon. I'm just like hop on, like my local team. Like I watch the games, like I know what's going on.
And like you've grown up in this area. It's not like you have like another hometown team.
Yeah, right.
Like
that's gonna be
like
my
I'm
team.
like I don't like Arizona teams. I was born in Arizona, but that doesn't mean I like Arizona teams. Like I moved around so much in my childhood that like I can't choose like one team. So it's kind of nice to be able to like choose and not have like a hometown team. Like right now, I really like the New York Islanders. Have I ever lived in New York or near New York? No. Like I really like the New Jersey Devils right now. Yeah. Like I like all of these teams that wouldn't be like a hometown team, and I feel so many people attached to whatever their hometown team is. Yeah. And then when you get like, it's just there's so many different ways it can go. And I feel like for women, most of the time it's like not the way you want it to go.
Yeah, right? Like for me, it's hometown because I'm from Jacksonville. And the Jaguars, I know they suck. I know everyone hates them. But you know what? When the game
you don't hear much of the Jaguars anymore.
When the game comes on, I'm on my couch.
Jaguars,
and I'm like,
do they still exist?
No, but I'm sitting there and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna pray and hope it goes well.
Like, please.
And like because I'm from Florida, there's just so much like emphasis on football and sports. Like it's so embedded in our culture as like Floridians that of course I grew up.
That's my favorite word ever is Floridians. It is so fantastic.
Of course I grew up like liking football. Like, if I didn't, then I'd be an outcast in my own home. And like, then I moved to Louisiana, but even still, I was like, boo LSU, boo LSU. And like recently, I watched LSU play the Gators, and we lost. And it was a bit of a sore.
She's tearing up.
It was a sore loss. I was sitting there on the couch, and I was like frozen in shock, and I was like, oh my gosh. It's like, what just happened to me? But you know what? Now I'm okay. Now I'm bitter.
She's recovered.
I'm resentful.
She's bitter.
But I'm breathing, and that's all that counts.
Yeah. I kind of want to double back to fantasy sports. Because as someone who has a fantasy hockey team, I always join public leagues, and I never want to do my own. One, because there's not that many hockey fans in the area. I can name 2 at our school, and that's it. But like, I never wanted to join like I thought about it this year, like asking those 2, like, hey, do you want to have a fantasy hockey league? Like, this would be so fun. But I just don't. And I was in a league last year with some of my friends down in LA. And some of them I didn't know very well. And some of my picks, they were like, oh, you're just choosing him because he's hot. I'm like, no, like Jack Hughes. So Jack Hughes plays for the Devils, and he normally gets associated with like, you know, the whole like puck bunny thing, and like girls only like him because he's hot. But he was first overall in 2019. Like,
decent player.
You're good. Like, he's good at hockey. Like, you know, he scored. I think his average in like, so he only played for half the season last year because he got injured twice. But he like had like at least 2 points, 2-3 points a game.
Okay.
Like,
that's a lot for
that's a lot for hockey. Like, he's a good player, and just it sucks because like he's one of my favorites, like because he's good, but it also gets so associated with this whole puck bunny thing, and it's just so frustrating. It's like, no, I chose him because he's good at hockey. Like, he's on my fantasy team again this year. Like, he's good. You know,
you're allowed to like a good player even if they're hot.
Like, exactly.
Okay, exactly. As the sister and daughter of 2 obsessed fantasy football men, I would like to curse you, fantasy football, for taking away my father and my brother from me and my family. Fantasy football, super fun. Like, seems like a lot of people have a great time with it, any fantasy sport. But to all of you fantasy players, when you're at the dinner table, don't be on your phone checking your fantasy. All right, the points will still be there later. Like, just as a word of advice, fantasy, don't let it become your life. But I think it's a very cool thing. I think it's super cool.
I have 4 brothers. 3 of them are obsessed with football, and my dad. And so growing up, they'd all just be scrolling on their phones, and I'd be like, I'm right here. I am right here.
Like, I'm in front of you. Like, you can.
I don't get like the
right now.
hyper obsession with fantasy, but it's definitely fun and cool.
Yes. Okay, we're gonna go into a little bit of a spur of the moment fire round. Spotify or Apple Music?
Apple Music.
Spotify.
I'm gonna get hate for that.
You really will.
That was really the only one.
Okay, wait.
That was a really good fire round.
Okay, wait. Here's really quick. Give like your quickest opinion. I feel like social medias are merging and taking other traits of the other, and I think they should just stick to their own unique little traits.
I agree. I think they should stick to what they're good at.
Instagram needs to stick to just be posting photos.
I agree.
Yeah.
It just needs
I like the stories though.
I do like.
Yeah,
I do like Instagram stories because they always feel a little more artsy.
Mm-hmm.
So you can, I feel like you get a little more creativity with Instagram stories than you do Snap stories.
Right.
So let's be honest, Snapchat
videos,
is really,
pictures, reels, cool, super fun. But like, what? IGTV? Who are you?
Yeah, I don't get that.
TikTok. You will not be real.
No.
Stop asking.
Oh yes,
Stop asking.
I heard about it. I don't have TikTok anymore. I deleted it months ago because it was just consuming my life. I'm like, no, stop. And so, but I heard about that, and I'm like, why? Like, I feel like just like stick to the
like you had success doing what you were doing in the first place. You don't need to change it.
Speaking of B-Reel, my hot take is gonna be, it's okay to retake your B-Reel.
Oh yeah,
I agree.
Oh yeah. You know what happened to me the other day? I opened the B-Reel app. Guess what? It just automatically took my photo. Like, half of my face was in it. Like, I was caught off guard because like it just automatically took it.
No, when
I went to retake it so I can like not look like I'm just like, oh just what happened? Like, oh my god. And I just was like, peace, put up my little peace sign.
What B-Reel does sometimes is when you open the app, it takes the picture automatically.
That's what happened to me.
And it's so frustrating.
I think it's my peace sign, man.
I think it's okay to retake your B-Reel, but I do have a little bit of a stickling with people who are purposefully late. Like,
purpose.
I get it. If,
Oh.
like, let's say it goes off in,
I'm going out with my
you know,
friends
you're
later.
at,
I'm
like...
gonna wait till then to take my picture.
Yes, exactly. Or, like,
you're not being real.
yes, like, let's say it goes off in class and, like, you don't want to, you know, like, you don't see it.
Makes
And then, like,
sense.
you know, you see it an hour later and you're like, oh, my God, Be Real went off. And then you take it, like, when you take it when you see it, acceptable. But when you are like, I'm going to go hang out with my friends later, so I'm going to wait and do my Be Real.
You know what I did the other day?
No.
I woke up 2 minutes after the Be Real goes off. I'm looking like a hot mess. I'm like, no. But you know what I did? I got up, and then I was making my pumpkin pancakes. I'm like, now I want to take my Be Real.
Now.
Did I still look like a hot mess because I woke up 15 minutes earlier? Yes.
Yeah.
But, you know, is the little light out? Like, I'm like, okay, maybe this is a little
You
better
didn't
of a Be
just
Real.
wake
Yeah.
up.
Right, exactly. So, I mean,
There's no
that's
shame in
another
that.
one.
Like,
Yeah.
I was in...
I don't have
yeah.
any shame.
Like, I was in Oregon, and my Be Real went off, and I was like, no, you know what? I'm not going to save it for when I'm going to go see my friend. I'm just going to do it now. Because she likes to wait sometimes, just because she doesn't feel like doing it. So I was like, you know what? If we really want to take a Be Real together, it can be hers. I want to be on time. Okay? I have been on time for the past 4 days in a row, and I've been really proud of myself.
That's really
Snaps.
good. That's a good streak.
Yeah.
Okay, wait, do you have any? I'm trying to think of like some like really fire.
I have a little bit of a hint to one of our later podcast episodes as a hot take.
Oh.
So, I think hockey lingo is one of the best ways to talk because it is so funny. It is so funny because it's just so embedded in the sport, and I think it's hilarious.
I saw one that said, I looked it up for that podcast episode.
That
may
is
or
coming.
may not
That
be
may or may
coming.
not be in the future.
Oh.
And it said it had like food, and I was like, wow. I
Wow.
was like, yes, whoever created this
Yes, like
is a god.
yeah. So what they do is they shorten words that don't need to be shortened, and then they lengthen words that are already short. Like instead of saying gas, like that was gas, or like you would say
Right.
that's gasoline.
Oh, I
Like
get it.
that is the stupidest thing ever. Like it's so
But
funny.
it's
Oh,
funny.
that is funny.
It's hilarious. My favorite. I wrote down some of my favorites. The sin bin is the penalty box. That one's one of my favorites. What else? A grocery stick. It's someone that sits between the offense and the defense and splits the two. So they just ride the bench the whole time. So they're called a grocery stick.
Oh,
It's really
That one's really good. This one is like, it makes me feel so uncomfortable. Lip lettuce. It's like a stash. And then
Oh
a
my
muzzy
God.
or a muzzle is like facial hair.
Oh,
But lip,
it's a lot of fun.
because lettuce is like hair or like flow.
Yeah.
And so just lip lettuce just sounds so bad.
I'm gonna make a comment. That is some super cool jargon. Shout out Mr. Schreier for teaching me that 2 or 3 word freshman year.
jargon.
I like
Jargon.
hockey jargon.
But you should stay tuned for that episode where we get some more of Maya's favorite hockey words.
And may or may not be quizzing some people.
May or may not be. We'll have to see.
Hey.
Okay.
And on that note,
And on that note,
That has been Hot Tub Hot Takes. This was our first of the new school year as seniors. You know, we're all seniors in the room.
hot take
So-
senior year is super fun and also super sad.
yeah, it is.
I can't agree
Hot
with you
take.
quite yet. I thought I had a rough start to senior year. You know, a lot of sports stuff, a lot of other stuff. But it is getting better. It has turned around. Part of that is because I'm like, you know what? I don't want to like lose
Bittersweet. Senior year is
Bittersweet.
bittersweet.
You know.
I thought I'm not
just
gonna lie.
interrupted your outro. I'm so sorry.
Anyways, this okay. This has been Hot Tub Hot Takes. Thank you, Ayami and Peyton, for joining me. I've been very, this was a great
It's
way to
just been
start off
such a
Hot Tub
pleasure.
Hot Takes. Great way to start it off. And next time, hopefully, we're going to be in a video.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
And not in the male
Yes.
Wait, we need to clarify that. Male bathrooms, there's a lot of male bathrooms, like damn it.
We are in the dressing room in the
Black
box. We are not in a random men's bathroom. We just happened to pick a bathroom next to the men's changing room. I mean, like dressing room? Changing room? Dressing room?
Yeah.
So we're not in a random men's bathroom, but
We're
Hot
just
Tub
being
Hot
resourceful.
Takes. We're being resourceful. It is a sound-ish proof room.
Yeah.
But we are very glad that you guys listened today. And it's only going to go up from here.
Have a nice weekend, Padres.